All right, guys, welcome to session 4 of the Intuitive Warrior Challenge. So we are in the pointy end of the challenge, the back end of the challenge, as they say. Congratulations for getting this far. And so today we're going to change gears, as you probably have already listened to my WhatsApp message. And I also let you guys know yesterday. I just want to kind of be present with you guys and check in with you to see how you're going, where the content has landed for you. You know, we can discuss where it's what your understanding of it is. Coaching questions to me about my life, you're more than welcome to ask. This is your opportunity. Normally I don't present these programs. It's usually you listen to the recordings and the facilitator facilitates these calls. So because this is a brand new program, I'm here live. So take the opportunity to ask me whatever you like. And I don't mind if we go over time for this one. Okay. So up to you guys. Anyone who's got to go on time, that's fine. Just drop out of the call. But I'm happy to be here for a little bit longer if need be. So just before we open up the lines and ask for questions, just want to remind you that the three biggest fears is we started this journey together, this challenge on Monday, and we spoke about the three biggest fears: not enough, too much noise, I should say, was the first one we said. Too much noise. Although I like to, if I was to put it in order, I'd like to, from here on in of the program, put it in order and say not enough space. Okay, not enough space. In other words, a lack of awareness of who you are, right? I know who you are is what you see with your 5 human senses, but that's not all who you are. So when I say a lack of awareness of who you are, I'm talking about who you are when you sense with your 6th sense, right? It's a different sense. Who are you? Who are you that is eternal? You were never born, you will never die. Okay? The part of you that's costumes, right? The part of you that's your 5 human identities, that you experience your world through your 5 human identities, is temporary. We understand that. Okay? So who are you? So that is the number one reason why people lack the ability and the willingness to follow their intuition or their feeling. Number 2 was too much noise. So lack of peace. Lack of, I would just say too much noise is the baggage we spoke about, which I've covered that with you yesterday, yeah? Reclaiming power. It's how to take the baggage out. Okay, and number 3 is you don't trust yourself. You're not willing to back yourself, which I'm going to cover tomorrow in our final sessions. How do you grow your trust with yourself? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But at this stage, I just want to see where you guys are at and open the lines and see how it's unfolded for you, the program. So anytime, we got a more of an intimate group today. So anytime you have a question, just unmute yourself and speak. Just feel free. Okay? Don't all do it at once though. I won't spill my coffee on myself today.
I just felt to share.
Yep.
This morning,
Sissy, there you are.
Hi.
How are you?
Mary just mentioned that she was aware that she had a judgment of the judgment. And I feel like everything you've been saying for the last few days has been like aimed directly at me and what I'm going through. But
yeah,
I went through this whole other process then this morning because I realized actually that's what I'm doing as well, and it was just quite profound.
Yeah.
I just found that really helpful. So it's been good to have that group as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the feedback, and what Mary has pointed out there is one of my favorites that people do, one of my favorites of what you shouldn't do, I should say. Okay, because it just pops up all the time. People are in judgment, then they judge themselves for being in judgment, right? Or they judge themselves for not being present. But the moment they realize I'm not being present, you're present, right? But then when you judge yourself for not being present, you then drop out of being present. So it becomes this cycle. So don't double judge yourself, if you like, right? It's at the moment you notice yourself, you judge yourself, just notice it. It's becoming aware. Just notice without judgment. Oh, I'm feeling really shitty about myself. Okay, just notice, right? Don't judge yourself going, well, I shouldn't be feeling shitty about myself. Well, how do you know you shouldn't be feeling shitty about yourself? I mean, the fact that you're feeling shitty about yourself means that you should be feeling shitty about yourself, because if you weren't meant to feel shitty about yourself, you wouldn't be feeling shitty about yourself. Do you understand? So don't judge yourself for feeling shitty about yourself. Just notice that I'm feeling shitty myself. Complete different experience. If you can master that, when you just go, I'm noticing that I'm feeling bad about myself. I'm noticing that I haven't been present for the last 17 hours or whatever. The moment you've noticed that, you're in. Great, right? Just don't judge yourself, because once you've judged yourself, you fall back into the shit, and then you can continue to feel shitty about yourself. So it's a very important one. It's something that I notice when people start doing this work, and I start talking about judgment. One of the things that can happen is, they notice themselves how many times they're judging, and they're like, oh, well, I'm judging all the time, right? That's great to notice that, but the drawback is then they judge themselves for being in judgment all the time. Okay, so you don't want to do that. And look, if you do that, don't then beat yourself up for doing that. You know, oh, I judged myself for judging myself. Now I'm judging myself about that. Just notice it. It's about witnessing and noticing. And look, it takes some practice. But again, Sissy, that's why I said the power's in the group. Like, it's just, you know, Mary shared something, then you're like, oh yeah, and you have reference points. Having the group together is shortcut. You know, people always ask me, you know, when I would deliver this on stage, how do I shortcut this? You know, how do I get this quickly? Because I really want to get it quickly, right? And I was just like, just do the work and don't try to shortcut it. It doesn't work like that, right? But after doing this, you know, presenting this work for over 15 years now, this is how long I've been doing this for, I realized that really the power is them sharing it within the group. And I've always then just encouraged group facilitations. All my work, everything I do is group facilitation, right? Sometimes someone comes, you know, sure, some of the guys in my groups that I facilitate ask for one-on-ones. Okay, sure, right? But very, very rarely, because it becomes such a trustworthy, safe space. And at the moment, you might not yet experience that because everyone's new. But if you continue doing this work with me, you'll notice that we put people in groups of 10, right? And you'll see some of the people here from each other's groups, right? And then they share that journey. That same 10 people will share that journey for the next 90 days or for the next 9 months, right? And it's like, and they kind of pull each other through it, you know? Dan might have a bad day, everyone kind of pulls him through, you know. Ramina might be confused, you know, and everything is just being it becomes super powerful, super supportive, and the amazing thing is the reflections. It's just like, wow, yeah, you know, what Mary's going through, I'm going through that, or I have gone through that, you know, and that's where the power is. Okay, most people think the power is in my content. Don't get me wrong, it is pretty powerful. The content is amazing, but to be able to integrate that and to be able to, you know, I'm a big believer of not like I always say, we didn't come here just to know this stuff. We came here to live it. Like what? Because that's what started me on my journey. You know, 15 years ago, I'm like, I know this stuff. I've grown up this way. I've promoted speakers who kind of talk somewhat this stuff, right? But I just couldn't live it. right? And I noticed that a lot of the speakers that I would promote sometimes couldn't live it, right? They were good at talking about it and good at selling it. But I was like, so that's what I said to myself. If I want to do this, I want to live it. Like I didn't come here just to know it. That's not giving me anything. So my biggest drive has always been to live this stuff. So, and that's all I do. All my teaching is dedicated in how can you live it? How can you live it? And look, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time, and that's what we do with this work. I break it down. We have the OMG program, which, by the way, stands for Oneness Mentoring Group. If in case you're thinking, OMG, it is the effect is. I like my acronyms. WTF. What the fuck. That program, as I mentioned to you guys before, was the Quest for Truth experience. The reason I changed it to the WTF experience, I wasn't on the quest for truth anymore because I felt like I found it. Don't get me wrong, you're always falling deeper into it. So it's not like you go, oh, I'm arrived. You always go deeper, but that's another conversation. But that's one reason. But the main reason is because people in the audience kept saying, what the fuck? What? Because, there's some mind-blowing concepts that I share in there. So people kept saying, what the fuck? I'm having a what the fuck moment instead of an aha moment. And then one day as a joke, I said, I should call this program the what the fuck experience. And then the next day it just came to me, the wisdom, truth, and freedom experience. Of course, after I created the OMG, it had to be another acronym. So anyway, good point. And thanks for sharing that, Sissy. Appreciate it. All right, anyone else?
Hey,
Dan.
how are you?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, first, I've got a question, but first a couple of reference points. One, just an interesting one. My car registration is WTF.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Do you want to swap number plates?
When I saw the car on sale, I was like, I've got to go and buy that car just because of the reg. And again, another reference point. So you're talking about the power of the group. I've just had on my way to work, I check in with some of the OMG guys one-on-one just because. I just had an hour-long chat with Zoe actually on my way to work.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the power of the group and our experiences. And, literally every week someone shares something. Yeah. And I'm going, I feel that, I understand that. And it's quite incredible and immeasurable. The power of just being there and hearing that, because sometimes you turn up for those meetings and those sessions and you're like, I've got nothing to say. What am I going to contribute today? Yeah. And it doesn't matter. You can just sit and absorb what other people say, and they will always raise something that's relevant to you, even if it's a different life experience. Anyway, I just thought I'd back up what you were saying there.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.
I've got a bit of a question about reclaiming power.
Yep.
So, I've been using Reclaiming Power now, I've been working with Reclaiming Power for probably 12, 18 months. It's the one thing that I always return to weekly, monthly, regularly. It is just so powerful. And, talk with Jamie about not using these things as tools, but living it, right? And again, I was just talking with Zoe just now about, but Zoe and I are both we like to understand and intellectualize things. And in this work, we have to let that go a bit. And I was talking to Zoe about how, since I've been doing this work, when I get lost in my thoughts, or when I start to spin or get stressed or anxious, I'm turning to a kind of reclaiming power thing of just focusing, trying to clear the thoughts and just focusing on how I feel. And I'm having varying success with that. My question is, how do I know, what's the difference between using this thing as a tool and leaning on it too heavily and putting power into it as a tool versus just living it and integrating it into my being and my life? Because sometimes I feel like that's what I'm doing, the latter, and sometimes I feel like perhaps I'm putting too much power in the process and using it as a tool. Does that make sense?
Use it as a tool, Dan. It's fine. It's The idea of like, I mean, there are lots of tools out there. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just a lot of the tools are pointed or designed to fix, improve, or change something. So when I'm saying, again, if you see the purpose of your tool, if your tool is there, and it's pointing to who you are. Because remember, like we spoke about the other day, and I don't remember which session it was, but I told you that you could have a tool, and that tool could be to sit in front of the mirror and go, I love you just the way you are. I love you just the way you are. And that could be a tool, right? And that tool can be quite powerful because you can actually get to a point of self-love, right? But that self-love is limited because it is the drop of the ocean loving itself. It's not the drop of the ocean, as Rumi, the great Persian poet, says, you are not the drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in the drop, right? To realize who you are, right? If you have a tool that is supporting you to realize who you are, then you won't need to love yourself. Why? Because you are love. And love for yourself is a natural state, right? So when I refer to, don't get stuck on the tools, I'm more referring to the tools that are there to support you in fixing, improving, or changing yourself. This work is not about fixing, improving, or changing yourself. This work is about realizing yourself, realizing who you are, right? And if there's a tool that is there to support you in realizing who you are, and you're using it for the purpose of realizing who you are, Dan, don't stop. If you want to see it as a tool, it's a tool, and use it. Okay, so that's the way I would put that.
Cool.
If you're using a tool that is getting you to realize that the power is in you, not in the tool, but you use the tool to realize that, so be it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say, my breath is my tool, right? But my breath is not there to fix, improve, or change my reality. My breath is there to reconnect with who I am. And when I reconnect with who I am, my reality bends around the possibilities that I feel within myself. I don't need to fix, improve, or change anything. And that's when everything in my reality manifests to reflect my not needing to fix, improve, or change it. So what happens when you don't need something? I mean, well, let's look at let's turn that upside down or the other way. What happens when you do need something? Well, it seems to always. I mean, look at it as a relationship. If you're in a relationship, or if you've ever been in a relationship, and the other person is very needy, what happens to you? What do you feel like doing? Running away. So when you're needy, the very thing that you want runs away. So when you realize who you are, the need to fix, improve, or changes goes away. Why? Because you're looking to fix, improve, or change something to feel more safe, to feel more love, to feel more empowered. But when you realize who you are, you feel safe, you feel empowered, you feel love. So then you go, I don't really need to fix, improve, or change anything. It's just a natural, and then you're like, you feel like, yeah, I want to go and take that trip, but you don't feel attached to it. And that's when you can that's when you can manifest it. That's when you can have whatever it is that you love. Why? Because you don't need it. Because the moment you need it, it runs away from you. And what do you have to do? You have to almost force it to come. You have to put blood, sweat, and tears and make it happen. And then you made it happen and you go, that wasn't fulfilling. Yeah, because it wasn't yours. You made it yours. What do they say? If you want to see if you free a bird, if it comes back, then that kind of thing. So, mate, it's don't get stuck on that. I think that helps clarify it for you anyway. If the tool is there for you to realize who you are, then amazing. And look, some people come and work with me and join my coaching programs because they think to themselves, if I can get this self-empowerment stuff that Amir is talking about, this love, then I could then go have whatever I want in my life. So they're here with the agenda to fix, improve, or change their reality, right? So then that becomes a tool, then, doesn't it, Dan? But if you're using it to reconnect because you don't like what it feels like when you're disconnected, if you're using the tool to become present because you don't like what it feels like to be not present, if you're using the tool to be self-empowered, right, and it's self-empowered by knowing who you are and being who you are, because you don't like what it feels like when you're not being who you are and you're being someone else. Great, do it. But if you're using it to go, well, if I can do this, then I can manifest money, it's not going to work for you. That's when I give the analogy. It's like showing up to a golf game, but instead of using a golf club, you bring your tennis racket and go, are we ready to play? It's a different tool. That tool is not for this game. Okay? Put the tennis racket aside. You need a golf club. No, I have my power in this tool. This is what's got me somewhere in life. So I'm going to use my tennis racket. But Dan, we're not playing tennis. We're playing golf. Doesn't matter. This is what I believe in. I'm bringing my tennis racket. That's what it a little bit becomes like. So long story short, Dan, don't worry about it. If it's a tool, as long as it's a tool for you to realize who's Dan. If it's a tool to free Dan, then by all means use it. Okay? But you will get to a point where you won't even need to use the tool. Okay? I mean, I get to a point where I don't need to go to my breath. I notice my breath happening. Sometimes I'm presenting this work and I notice myself just pause and go, and then I think to myself, who took that breath? I didn't even take that breath. It's like it becomes automatic. All right? People say, do you reclaim power? I'm like, no. Well, what do? Well, I just place my attention on the truth. But the truth is, my attention is mostly on the truth anyway. Why? Because it's not on the lie. It's not on the illusion. So I don't even need to place my attention on the truth. Now, in some cases I do, don't get me wrong, but day to day I'm just living. I'm not even, and then you think to yourself, well, I'm not using any tools. But if you're using a tool to get to that point, get good at using that tool, Dan. I mean, you look at any of my challenges that I run, right? The challenges that I run is to provide people with some kind of tool, right? But the purpose of those tools is different. You look at the tools that I've provided in this program. All the purposes of those tools is for them to free themselves, to empower themselves, and for them to realize who they are. That's all it is. It's a tool, and use it as a tool.
Cool. I am and I will.
I can see you will. With Dan, you just got to set him free. Just let him loose. If you cut the rope free, mate, he's off. He's like a kite. He doesn't need to be, but he's a kite. But you need to cut the ribbon off, and let the kite go where he needs to go. Don't rein him in. That's a word I was looking for.
I think I'm the only person reining myself in, Amir.
Okay, good call.
Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Joyce, how are you?
Hello. The statement you use, I would like to see if there are some, other references, other ways of saying it, because it's really the foundation of all of this, is when you say, I place my attention on the truth. So, and you say that, as kind of, it's not the emotion, it's not, it's like the place to go
It's very simple, Joyce. Who am I? That's very simple. When I place my attention on the truth, I ask myself, I stop, I let go of who I think I am, right? Just who am I? Right? Now, if there is a barrier being another individual that is creating circumstances, that's creating limitations, that is creating processes, I go, who is that? If Joyce is now reacting to me and just telling me, you're just whatever, and just calling me the C word or whatever.
The C word.
Yeah. Come on, use it. Come on, Joyce, give it. Right? What I do, who is Joyce? And you will notice this more in your families, because the family members play the role to teach you the greatest things. And if you can get those teachings, that is all about for you to realize who you are. Families play those roles. So all the way, I have my mum in my ear growing up. Oh, my sister did this, and why is my brother doing that? She's like, what is it of your business? I was like, well, he's going to fail. I know something about business. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. And she's just like, first she used to just be, when I wouldn't understand this work, she would say, what business of it is of yours? It's none of your business. Right? Sometimes my wife comes and she gives me, she likes to, this happened at work, and this, and this person's doing this, and this. I was like, what is it of your business? Like, it's none of our business what they want to do. That's number one, right? But if you really want to pull the veil back, who is that? Who is your sister? My mum used to say to me. I mean, I grew up with my mum saying, I'm not really your mum. That's the way I grew up. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm not really your... I would say, thanks, mum, for doing this. She goes, it wasn't your mother that did it. I'm not really your mum. It's just a pretend. It's a role. I did start growing up. I delayed my journey for many years because I thought my mum was crazy. And she says shit like that. I'm like, jeez, my mum's crazy. She's lost it, right? But it took me many years to come back and kind of realize and, kind of listen to a few other people in the world who are crazy as well, for me to go back to my mum and go, all right, what do you know? I watched The Matrix, for example, all right, mum, what do you know? There's a few things in my life that came in. So, but to answer your question, Joyce, very, very simple. But that's not simple to do for someone, because when they're looking with perception going, well, who is my sister? They're going, well, my sister's a bitch. That's who she is, right? No. Take it off.
That's closed.
That's closed. The curtain's closed.
That's
so
closed.
It takes many months, many years to slowly pull that veil, open, and that's the work I do, right? But ultimately, to answer your question, who am I, right? Or who is that? Is that really?
And that's a pondering.
It's a seeing. It's a seeing. And Sean, not Sean, Dan, you talked about, you need to understand, but, this is an understanding. You begin to understand why. You begin to understand. So your yearning to understand comes into benefit you now, Dan. At the beginning, you just have to feel it. Just feel it. You can't understand this stuff. You just got to feel it. But once you feel it, you can start to bring your understanding. But it's not your understanding of knowledge. It's your understanding. You see with understanding. You're seeing the truth. Do you understand? It's very similar to the Matrix movie. That movie is just not a Hollywood blockbuster. It's an amazing little wake-up call for people. Okay? Of course, there's a Hollywood spin in there, right? The robots are in charge and all that, but, you know. So, but to answer, Joyce, your question, you know, it's who am I? But, you know, someone who's just started to work, they'll be like, well, who am I? And it's their understanding of who they are is intellectual. Okay? It's different. So therefore, it's like, you know, if you've done my WTF experience, I say who you truly are is the ocean. Who you think you are is a drop of the ocean, right? So when this hasn't dropped in yet, you haven't done the work long enough, right? What happens is like you understand who you are is love, right? You understand who you are is the entire ocean. You're not just the drop, but that's like the drop going, I'm not this drop, I am the ocean, I am the ocean, I am the ocean. But the drop is saying, I'm the ocean, I'm the ocean, I'm the ocean. Okay? Where, as Rumi says, you are not the drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in the drop. Again, look, if you've done my WTF experience, which I know, Joyce, you have, the answer's in there. The answer, I share that in the WTF experience. I can share it now, but it'll take me a good 15 minutes to elaborate on it. I have to set the scene, and you know. But that right there is how it works. Is who are you? Where is this breath going? You think, yes, I know physically, you know, it's going to your brain and into your lungs and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But where's the breath really going? So that's my response to you, Joyce. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
Have you ever gone so far that you kind of like peeled the onion back so many layers that you were like, oh my God, I've gone too far. I need to back up?
No, because if once you've gone far enough, there's no way you would turn back. You know, it's like in the Matrix, they give you the red or blue pill.
Right.
Right. But I mean, if you've gone far enough and you realize who you are and you experience the enormity of that you experience a love that you've never felt as the drop of the ocean. Because the drop of the ocean, what it feels is the need of love. It's continuous. Because why? Because the drop is thinking, I feel like I'm part of something bigger. There's something missing. Something's incomplete. Something's missing in my... Why? Because the drop is in the ocean, but it thinks it's in the drop. It's feeling or sensing its enormity, which is the entire ocean. It doesn't realize it's the entire ocean. So, just dropped out there. I love when I drop out because it reminds me that it's not me talking. What was I saying? Well, what was your question, Mary? Yeah,
Well, I think I need to clarify it just a little bit. So, like, I remember when I watched your WTF stuff, you talked about your favorite football or soccer.
Yep.
And okay, I don't want to say it wrong. I don't even know what it's called over there.
Yeah.
How you were afraid that you were going to become detached from it because things just really don't matter. And so I guess what I meant is, have you ever gone so far that you feel detached from, you know, your kids, your wife, your family?
No, things matter more. But usually things matter because it's giving you something, right? Because what is it giving you? Connection, love, acceptance. So things matter in your life because that thing gives you security, safety, love, right? That no longer matters. Then what matters is what you've got to give rather than what you've got to receive. Your attentions always look at what can I get here because you're looking for love. You're looking to be loved. Okay? Whether that is looking for safety, security, right? Stability, all that stuff is what you feel in love. But you're looking for someone, a circumstance, a possession, an individual, or a community or individuals to give you that. So what happens is that when you realize who you are, that no longer matters, because all the things you were looking from those individuals or circumstances you already have. So it no longer matters. Now what matters is all the love that you feel that you want to give to them. Love is a giving process. People don't understand. They think it's, oh, well, I'm here to receive love. No. When you give love, you receive it, but you receive love from yourself. Because as the love that's real moves through you, you're receiving it. The love that's real. Usually, people, the energy that's moving people is the yearning to receive love. But this puts it upside down. The energy is to give love.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I recently read The Untethered Soul,
Right.
which I think is fantastic. I don't know if anybody else has read that book. But I kind of got a little bit worried that I was going to let go of everything and everyone and not need them.
That's
And so I think I
exactly
was
what's
getting
happened.
stuck.
You're letting go of the attachment, and you're letting go of needing them. So if you
Right.
no longer need them, what are you free to do?
To just love them.
Ah.
Yeah. That makes sense. But I was getting hung up on that, like, fear of not needing them and then not knowing what was on the other side of that. So
Again,
I stopped.
why people are afraid of that fear of not needing them is because it's just what's familiar. That you're familiar with the feeling of needing them. So you don't want to not need them. Because to you, to an individual or to you in the past, that is what love is. That I need them. Right? So, but if you no longer need them, if you no longer are attached to them, you are free to love them. But the only reason you would no longer need them or be attached to them is because the love that you were gaining from them, the connection that you perceive to be getting from them, you found it within yourself. That's the only time you no longer need them. You just suddenly realize, I'm no longer, it's not like you no longer need them. Doesn't sound right because that freaks someone out. It's you no longer need the need of their love, right? And this is the amazing thing, because then if they love you, you then have the capacity to receive it. Why? Because you don't need their love. When someone needs their love, and if they give you the love, what you experience is the need of the love. It's like you're a drug addict and you need it. It's like, oh, my hits come. Oh, they gave me a little bit of appreciation. They gave me a present. Must mean they love me. Do you understand? You're experiencing the need. But when you no longer need their love, right? And if or when they give you love, you receive the love for what it is. And it's beautiful. Because you don't need it. There's no need in love. Not in the real love. Most people's interpretation is that what they're receiving is receiving from their partners, from their family, from their circumstances, from what they do. They perceive that is love. But that is not love. That what your experience there is your need of love. And you get the love and you feel like, oh yeah, they still love me. They still said the right things. They still gave me the right gifts. My job is still, this, whatever, right? When you no longer need it, and again, I'll say this again, the only reason you wouldn't need it is because you realize it in yourself. If you no longer need it, then if and when they love you, you feel the fullness of that love. So people think to themselves, well, I'll lose meaning and purpose in my life if I no longer need that from my family or my work or my... No. It becomes more meaningful. Because the meaning is no longer coming from them. You have the meaning and you're giving it to them. Love or manifestation, if you've done my manifestation program, you know that I say manifestation is a giving process. Because you're manifesting with the feeling the real feeling that we've been talking about. That's what you're manifesting with, and that's love. But that's not, again, it's the real love. What's the real love? It doesn't have reason. All the other things that you do, right, has reason. Well, I'm doing this because I want my partner to know that she's special. Well, why do you want her to know she's special? Well, then so she can know that I'm special, obviously, right? So she knows that I'm, what a special guy I have. To give you an example. But in the real love, you're giving something because it was there to be given. No reason. I just felt to buy this for you. No reason. And therefore you're not going, she hasn't bought me a gift in a while. I wonder if she's having an affair. I wonder if she still loves me. Internal dialogue. Internal rubbish. This is just bullshit you make up in your head. Baggage, 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 baggage. Fear, 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 fear. Why? How did the fear start? Because you did something with reason, and then when you didn't get it reciprocated back, you were like, well, maybe my work is about to let me go. Maybe this, maybe that. You just 60 to 80,000 thoughts, they say, we have per day. And 95% of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. Same thing. So good question, Mary. I didn't know you have done my WTF. Did you do that online or was it live?
Sorry, I muted myself because I was going to cough and I didn't want to do that while you were talking.
Yep.
I just watched it. I think I got into your Facebook group and you shared it there, and so then I watched it through that.
How long ago did you watch that?
Pardon?
How long ago was that?
Within the last 2 or 3 months.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Cool. Okay, very good. Thanks, Mary. All right. We have 15 more minutes, or we can keep going as well. Just depends. Oh, Philip. Yep.
Hey, mate.
Hey, mate.
I think I've answered this question in my head, but I'll ask it anyway. If reclaiming power when you have a feeling, not a feeling. Sorry, when you have a reaction.
Yep.
Do you need to identify it in order to be able to process it?
What do you mean by identify it?
To say, so I think what I've observed myself just today is something's coming up, and what I'm doing is, okay, I'm feeling angry. Why am I feeling angry? And
you don't need to know why you're feeling angry. In fact,
so that's another one.
Well, why you're feeling angry is actually taking you to the story, right? And you might not come back to the feeling, right? And then So I think
that's what I mean. I'm losing, straight away. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I'm also losing it because I'm trying to. Sorry, that's one side. The other side is sometimes I can't identify the feeling. So I think I'm feeling something, but I'm thinking, okay, what am I feeling? But I can't label it.
Great. That's even
better.
That's
taking me out as well. So.
That's good. Well, in the reclaiming power process, what happens is the emotion becomes the feeling, and it loses its. They say if you go deep enough into anger, you fall into love. Anger is a different vibration of love, right? Yep. So what I'm saying is, if you go deep enough into an emotion, right? Could be jealousy, could be whatever. If you just go deep into the identity of it being jealousy disappears. The reason why you're jealous disappears. Remember I said the memory disappears. Now it doesn't disappear like entirely, like if it's in your library somewhere, stored, but it no longer is charged, therefore it no longer feeds your perception. Well, you better be careful now, because you're an angry person. Like you're creating more experiences to feel the anger. The lenses get they were fogged up. They just got cleaned up. Okay, so that's what I mean by the memory. But that is your experience. What you're experiencing right there is you're disconnecting to why you're feeling the anger. And if you go deep enough, you begin to lose the boundaries or the parameters that you identify with the emotion being anger. And what the emotion is becoming is energy. And then there's a part of your brain thinking, hang on, where's the anger going? You know?
Yeah.
Where did it go? Mate,
Yeah.
that's reclaiming power.
Oh, right.
That's
okay.
neutralizing the emotion. Reclaiming power then is, who am I? The completion of it is, who am I? So when you realize who you are and you've reclaimed power, the anger no longer ceases to exist. So therefore, you don't bring anything in your life to make you angry. People and circumstances come into your life to make you angry because you're angry inside. So you bring people to play a role. Could be your sister, could be your dad, could be your son, could be your dog, whatever. They play a role to get your anger out. And then you have this opportunity to get your anger out. And you get angry. You go, oh, I'm angry. Oh, good. Because if it stays in there, right, it's very, very dangerous. Suppression of the emotion leads to depression.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I'm not a medical doctor there, but it's just my little guidance. I just know that whatever you suppress, it's not good. It needs to be expressed. Okay? It's not a medical statement there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Phil. All right.
Hi there.
Hi. Who's speaking? Oh, Jolene. How are you?
Hello. I feel like I've been quiet in my little box here.
Well, let's get loud. And let's break those walls down so there's no box.
I know. So, for the longest time, I've known that I want to spend my days coaching. It's been a part of my life for a long time. I really resonated with what you were saying about, it's like, for a long time now, it's like I haven't wanted to like be this person and have this spiritual side of myself. I've wanted to live. This is just who I want to be. This is how I want to live. Mm-hmm. And I've been working with Cora Poge for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And so I hear a lot of you in the work I do with her. And so in the past several years, I've created this awesome job, and I make what I consider to be really good money. So then I felt like I kind of painted myself into a box. But so much of what you're saying is resonating with me. So I have created, through my boss, I think, this level of discomfort in the job. And I was really mad at her for a while. And then I realized that I had created her to show me whatever it was I needed to see or feel. And so a couple of weeks ago, I just felt like when you were talking about the feeling being a life-changing thing, I thought, I'm going to leave this job and I'm going to coach full-time. And when I'm connected to the ocean, to the infinite, I'm like, oh, yes, that feels so good. And I kind of started my coaching practice this last fall and winter, and I'm going to step into this full-time.
Yep.
And then I fabricate the feeling, I think is what you said, because then I go to the drop who says, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You make like what you consider to be an awesome income. You're finally living this lifestyle that feels really good, and you're going to say goodbye to that.
Yeah.
And so I've been dancing back and forth between just coming back to my breath and knowing what I know is true for me, because the story just keeps coming up.
Yeah. Look, so what comes up in the story is what you still have power in. So amazing that you've made a decision like that, right? Like in my life, I make decisions like that all the time. I'm all in, go it, right? But there's got to be absolutely no fear.
Right, because what I'm thinking is if I act on this decision with these stories still active, then I take that into this new life I'm creating, which is not going to allow me to live the life I want to create.
Yep. But
So
your decision that you're making, you're still carrying some, which is normal at the beginning. You're still carrying some of the old patterns with you, right? Like, well, how am I going to make money, right? Or, well, I'm giving up this income, the very thing that you said, right? Well, how do you know it wasn't going to come through another form? It might have not even been through the coaching. It might have even been through something else. Like, it's just, all things are possible. So the ability to make a decision like that, to trust yourself, which is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But there is trusting yourself 90%, 98%, 99%, or 100%. Right? 100%. But you're not trusting yourself as the drop. You're trusting yourself as the ocean.
Right.
That's the difference. When you first start to use this, you're trusting yourself as the drop, and you're relying on the ocean. Hey, I'm relying on you, universe. Hope you got my back, right? It starts off like that, and you kind of put it out in the universe, and then one day you realize, I am the universe. Like, I am one with the universe. Why am I putting it out there, right? So a decision like that, you know, amazing. Like, the first step that you've trusted yourself is huge. But like I said, when you first start to trust yourself, you might have trusted yourself 90%. What's the 10%? Where's the money going to come from? Fear, lack. So you then take that with you, and then that will then begin to show up. Then you reclaim power. You keep reclaiming power. Right? And be guided. You know, your intuition is guiding you in following the feeling. Remember, the feeling is the drop. The feeling is the ocean. Right? The drop can't move the ocean, yet the ocean is always moving the drop. Right? You've made a decision to follow the feeling. You then use your intuition to guide you with the following of the feeling. All right?
That's why I'm here this week. Came across you this weekend on Instagram talking about this, and in my daily work life, it's crazy busy. I feel exhausted, and I'm like, one more thing. I'm coaching, and I've got my own coaching, and then I thought, no, I came across this. This seems like the right thing, so I just signed up. And I thought, okay, this is a piece of trusting what's coming into my sphere right now.
Yeah.
So support me. So.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for you to, you know, make those 100% decisions. It's self-realization, self-awareness, that's space. Okay, so you got to continue doing that work on yourself, right, with your coach. And make space for yourself. You sound busy. I can hear it in your voice. If you don't make space for yourself, space to sit and reflect and ponder, space just to sit. Nowhere to be, nothing to do, nothing to accomplish. If you don't do that, then how do you expect to draw from that space? You know, how do you expect to follow that feeling 100%? 100%. When you make a decision 100% with that feeling, it's impossible for it not to happen. Your reality bends around you. When you make a decision 50%, or, you know, it's lacking, you bend around your reality. It's like, I'm doing this, but you kept looking at your reality and going, am I running out of money? Am I doing this? Are people liking my coaching? Like, you're checking outside rather than checking inside. But when you make a decision 100% inside, your reality outside bends to manifest or reflect the decision you've made. But again, not everybody can do that. It took me years, and I still practice that. Like, it depends on what the decision I'm making. But it has to be 100%. It can't be 99. But don't get me wrong, even if it is 90% or 80%, you're still going, but you just understand you're carrying some of that limitation with you. Okay? If it's 90%, you got to ask yourself, well, what's the other 10%? It's I don't believe in myself. I don't believe the money will show up. Well, that's gonna show up somewhere. Okay, be ready for it. And when it comes, don't freak the fuck out. What do? How do I feel? right? And where's my GPS? Where's my GPS? And use your intuition. I've lived like that for a long time, you know, long enough anyway. Long enough. You know, as a young, I picked this stuff up early as a young adult, and I use it every day. In my everyday living, I'm living this stuff. You know, I wasn't interested in knowing this stuff. It didn't impress me. I wanted to live it. Don't come to me unless I can live it. I don't want to know it. I'd rather be in denial. Right? If this stuff is going to come to me and this is real, I want to go all the way and I want to live it. That's the conversation I had with myself. Don't fuck with me. I don't want to be crazy like my mama used to say. But then I realized I kind of had to go that way.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you.
My poor mama, keep calling her crazy. All right, thank you, Jolene. Thank you. And I wish you well.
Thanks.
Guys, just, I don't know, how did the Reclaiming Power, is someone who did Reclaiming Power for the first time, or someone who did Pondering for the first time? I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyone here did Reflecting or Pondering for the first time? Hands up. Okay, one or two of you. All right. What about Reclaiming Power? Anyone? Was that new for you? For anyone? Well, you guys seem like you're a bit more advanced. You must have done my work somewhere and already learnt it all.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I've been doing other work, not just your stuff. I mean, like Kyle Cease, fan of his stuff.
Oh yeah,
know,
Kyle. He was a
Untethered.
Comedian, right? He used to be a comedian. Is that Kyle?
Correct.
Yeah. His wife used to do my OMG program actually in LA. I remember. She's a wonderful person, and big fan of Kyle. He's great.
Right. So, like, when you're asking, like, you know, is this stuff new? I mean, it's kind of new, but like the truth drops in at different points. Like sometimes I feel like I know the truth in my head, and then sometimes I feel the truth in my heart.
Yeah.
And when I feel the truth in my heart, I have no doubt. I have no question. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
It's just when I get back into my head that I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah.
So
well, you know, all this work is about, can you use it at will? You know, when you get back in your head, can you at will drop back in? And that's the living of it, at will.
Right.
Like, can you use your intuition at will? Can you follow the feeling in the moment it presents itself? The feeling presents itself in the moment that it is designed for you to take, not to take action. I'll say that again. The feeling presents itself in the moment that it is designed for you to follow the feeling in. So sometimes people have the feeling and they go, oh, I'm going to put that over there so I can think about it. Or I'm going to put that over there because No, you are, when that feeling presents itself, it's a decision to follow the feeling. There's not necessarily there's an action to be taken, right? The decision has to be made, and you're saying yes to the feeling. You acknowledge the feeling, you see the feeling for what it is. I see you, I feel you, I acknowledge you, I am you, is what I say to myself.
it is good to know that you thought your mom was crazy and then you came back to it. I have hope for my 13-year-old who thinks I'm crazy.
Well, you know, some people say you kind of got to go a little bit crazy to get this stuff because it's not logical.
It's true.
Do you know? I mean, logic has its purpose, but you know, as I said, I think Einstein says, you know, logic will take you from A to B, but your imagination will take you everywhere. Something along those lines. So you know,
heard that one, but I like that.
Yeah, that's an Einstein one. But logic has its purpose. But when it comes to realizing who you are, it's not going to know, because logic exists in duality, in the world of separation. Who you really are is one energy. There's no duality. So it's never going to interpret that. It can't. Thanks, Mary. Joyce is up again.
If a newer person wants to go, I'll wait.
No?
Going? No. Well, right before this call, there was a big breakdown here in my new landscape, beautiful, created it, loved it.
Yep.
And the gardener came and was making a royal mess of it. And I found myself getting all wound up and then I thought, who am I? So is that kind of what you're talking about, where it was just like I took a step back and it was just like I didn't want to react to the whole thing, and it calmed me down, and it was an opening. It was open, instead of shutting down in anger and that would make it worse, So it was that just a moment. It was like automatic.
Yep.
And because I've been here all week, so it's top of mind.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's three different ways you can go. It's who am I, who is that, and where am I? Okay, where are you? Because where are you is, are you in the moment? Yeah. So that.
What was the third one?
Who am I? Who are they? Or where am I? So if you're not present, yeah, because right there you can just bring yourself into the present moment. Right there you can drop into the now.
Right.
Because the moment you realize you're not present, you have the opportunity to be present.
I realize that, I've been pretty uptight about everything has to be just so back here, Spent all this money, and I'm being perfectionistic about it. And that's why there was a breakdown. I'm convinced. There wouldn't have been a massive breakdown. There wouldn't have been a breakdown if I wasn't so uptight about it to begin with.
Well, if you weren't going to have a reaction for it, it probably wouldn't have needed to happen.
Yeah, so that was very cool. I needed that to happen.
Excellent. Thanks, Joyce. All right, guys. Any final questions, comments, contributions before we wrap up? How are you feeling?
I feel like we're all even though we all have different stories, I feel like there's so much that I'm experiencing the same sensations or feelings or reactions or, and I just think it's just so interesting because even every time I'm going through a big thing in life, I tend to gravitate more, and you always seem to present something at the time, which then and that's almost uncanny how the process starts to happen before the program or the event has even started.
Yep.
And it's before I used to be so attached to the outcome, which was me trying to fix, change, or improve or whatever. And then now I just realize that my whole process is the journey. That's the thing, and to just be with that. So, yeah, it was just more of a share than anything, but it was just so interesting when hearing everyone's stories in the group chat. And so thanks, everyone. Thanks, Amir. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you. You got to trust the journey. It's all about the journey. It's just trust. You need to trust that journey. Trust yourself in that journey. Okay. Well, you have another 1 day, 24 hours to put some of these things into practice. The reclaiming power, the sitting with the emotions. Who am I? Who are they? Where am I? These are all tools, if you like, as Dan was talking about. If it's going to help you realize who you are, then use it as a tool. I don't mind. That's great. That's fantastic for you. And tomorrow I'm going to share the final piece, the final hurdle that we are faced with that restricts us in following our feeling or our intuition, which is you don't back yourself. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a tool, if you like, or a practice that will support you in being able to back yourself. All right, so it's pretty big, and then we'll finish off after tomorrow. Some of you I will probably continue working with if you continue doing other coaching programs with us. Otherwise, I will see you through social media, live. Get around it. Build. We love to build the tribe and support as many people as we can. We support people through coaching programs, through just what I share on social media. Jamie and I, we're going live on social media in about 90 minutes. That's to support people who are, they're not necessarily part of our programs. It's just to support them on their journey. In fact, this very same program came from Jamie and I doing an Instagram live, and one day we decided to do one on intuition. And Jamie started asking questions on intuition. As we're doing it, in the moment, dropped in, I was like, you know what, Jamie, we should do a challenge, an intuitive challenge, something around intuition. I didn't know what it was going to be about. I didn't know how much it was going to be. I just, in the moment, I said it live. Go back and listen to the recording of I don't know how many weeks ago it was, right? That it was part of the Infinite Way. That's what those live calls are. And right there, I decided that I'm going to do an Intuitive Warrior Challenge. I still didn't know what it was about. In fact, I didn't know what it was about until a day or two before. In fact, this week was scheduled for me to do Tuesday and Thursday with you. But the day before, or the 2 days before, I sat down and was like feeling like, who's coming? I kind of sense who's coming and what do I want to share? And as I sat down and wrote down all the things that I want to share, I rang Jamie and said, mate, I need all the slots. Because you were going to do a slot with Jamie on Monday, Tuesday was with me, Jamie on Wednesday, Thursday was with me, and then Friday was with Jamie. I said, mate, you're out. I need all the slots. So, but normally Jamie facilitates with me. In this case, he only facilitated on the within the actual WhatsApp group. Okay, but normally we do it together. But that's how it is. It's just that's what came to me. I've got so much to share here, and I want to share the whole thing. And today was dedicated to stop sharing and start listening and just see where you're at and make sure that I'm here to answer any questions and support you in your processes. I mean, I'm just following my feeling, even in designing this every program is like that for me. I did a retreat just, maybe it was in January or February 1, that's when it was. A retreat in Byron Bay in New South Wales, and it was a small retreat. I've never done a small one before, that small, but I did it because COVID restrictions. I did it for 10 people only. I had no idea what the whole retreat was about. People had put in $5,000-$6,000 to come to this retreat, and I don't know what it's about. And I remember the day before or 2 days before, I did an Instagram story saying I'm up in Byron Bay and I'm about to do a retreat. It's called the I Am Retreat, and I have no idea what it's about. And I'm just sitting here with my pondering and looking forward to. And people were ringing up Jamie going, how does he not know what it's about? Do you guys not plan this stuff? Like, what's wrong with not knowing what it's about? What happens? Oh, there's a part of you that feels the uncertainty. Yeah, but do you feel comfortable in the uncertain? Can you find your certainty in the uncertain? I love when I don't know what it's about because I know that it's not going to come from me. I mean, if it comes from me, trust me, I ain't that good. I'm not that good. I spill coffee on myself, Mary, as you know. I give the finger to other drivers when I'm driving, but when it's time to connect, it's time to connect and. So, but this very program, the reason you're sitting here is because it just came in the moment. And I'm designing this as I go along. I didn't know I was going to cover the 3 biggest reasons why you fail your intuition until a day or two before. I didn't know that this program is not about me teaching you how to use your intuition, rather to remove the barriers that is stopping you from using intuition. Guess when? I didn't know that until I said it. You won't believe me. As I say it, there's a part of me going, oh, that's good. I like this. This program's awesome, juicy. There is a part of me that's kind of riding the wave. And I'm familiar with that. But you won't believe me. But as I said that, I was like, oh yeah, this program's good. Because, I mean, how can you teach someone to use intuition anyway? It makes sense that it makes it. That didn't come to me until I said it. I don't know if you would believe me. This whole program has been done intuitively. This whole program, how the program came together, how the challenge has gone so far, kicking Jamie out and running the whole thing has happened moment by moment. Jamie's been working with me for about 10 years. He knows I make this up moment by moment. Why? Because I don't want to get in the way. I love moment by moment. Don't get me wrong, if there's stuff coming to me about the program 2 days before, I'll have no problem to sit down and write it. But I wrote it. Here it is. I just scribbled some notes. And you might have noticed me once or twice look down and go, I have no problem doing that either. But I have no problem to close the book and just show up on stage with absolutely nothing, not even a topic. It's worked out for me every single time. It has never, ever let me down. I'm telling you, this is how I live. See you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Our final session, yeah? Let's bring it. All right.
Thanks, Amir.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for making the effort to be here live.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Good night. Good morning.